Good evening, everyone. Before we start our event this evening, we have a few updates to share, some save the dates for our chapter. So starting October 27th at 8 a.m., we do have a virtual conference that students can take advantage of and all members can take advantage of. It's our annual HIE conference. And for those that don't know, it stands for Health Information Exchange. And so we'll be having that throughout the day virtually if you're interested in attending. Students' tickets will be priced at $5. We really make an effort to keep costs low for students, and we welcome all that want to come. Also, we're very excited for our holiday event, which is going to take place December 9th at 6 p.m. at Boston Winery. This is our first event that's face-to-face, given COVID and the situation where we've done a lot of online webinars. So we're very excited to have everybody come. Please make sure to bring proof of vaccination at the door when you come on in. And right now we had just opened up registration. So if you Google New England Himss, right away it will come up, and under events, you can go ahead to click on the Himss Holiday Social and take advantage of the Eventbrite registration there. So it's a fun time. We in the past have done awards and different donations to nonprofits. So it's a fun event. It's lively. It's a very well-to-do, well-attended event. So we're excited to see you there. Other resources that you might want to take advantage of is the student volunteer website that we have posted. It goes into details as to what we offer and how to become more involved if you're interested. Also, we do have the mentorship program for students. It's also on our webpage for New England Himss, and we'll go into more detail on that throughout our program. And also to highlight, we do have a very robust programming calendar throughout the entire year, focusing on various different topics, clinical informatics, advocacy, student attended events, and our spring conference. So something to take note of if you have time, whether it be during the day and in the evening. We do have programming that complement everyone's schedule. So something to check out when you have time. Another update that we do have for our audience is that we do have the New England Himss Scholarship in development with our internal teams here with the chapter. And there will be more information to follow for students that want to take advantage of that by the end of the year. So we're definitely working on it. It's a work in progress and hope to have more opportunities for you in that direction soon.
Hi, everyone. So welcome everyone to our first student activities webinar of the year. My name is Katie Bethel. I am the president-elect of New England Himss and also the co-chair of the programs committee. We have a fantastic program for you all tonight. The student activities committee has done an amazing job and worked so hard to put this together for you to provide you with helpful career tips and opportunities in healthcare IT. I am so excited to listen to our esteemed panelists and speakers this evening, and also to hear about success stories from student engagement. I also want to thank the Mentorship Committee for participating and sharing their firsthand experiences as well. So it's going to be a fun night. I'll turn it back over to Monique to kick things off.
Again, everyone, hello. Welcome to this evening's event. Again, I'm Monique Chalevich. I'm the chair of the Student Activities Committee for New England Himss. A little bit about me. I recently graduated not too long ago from Northeastern University's Health Informatics program, part-time while working. So I can all appreciate everyone's effort in continuing to get through that class, several classes if you have that signed up on your agenda, and also trying to engage in extracurricular activities like this. What we do, all of our volunteers, is meant to help you guys shine. So I am so thrilled to be able to introduce you to my team, the Student Activities Committee. We are all volunteer based, and for the past year or so, we have been working really hard to make sure that we reach out to you guys throughout COVID and continue that conversation on how to really engage and leverage your skill set to enhance your career while you go ahead to attend an academic program within the New England area. My volunteers, along with mentorship committee, are smart, accomplished individuals that will be able to share with you their experience through New England Himss this evening. So thank you for joining, and I'm excited for you to meet them. I will hand it off to Maha now.
Hi everyone, my name is Maha Babu. I am a student volunteer with New England Himss, and I work as a clinical documentation analyst at Waterbury Hospital. I started volunteering early this year at Himss, and it's such a rewarding experience, and I welcome you all for tonight's webinar. On to Samir.
Hello all, I'm a healthcare professional from India and graduated from Northeastern University as Masters in Health Informatics this August. And I'm associated with New England Himss as a student activity volunteer since February 2021. I can say that it has been a wonderful experience of being an integral part of this organization who is looking out forward to supporting and guiding not only the students, but also the professionals of this field. And I welcome you all and thank you all for joining.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Zhang. I'm recently graduated student from Brandeis University and concentrated in data analytics and strategy. And I joined the New England Himss as the big family as a volunteer, and I really enjoy the time spending here. And we really push our best efforts to give you a lot of resources you can have here and boost your career exploration. And thank you for enjoying the events tonight, and hope you can get whatever you want from our event. Thank you.
Hi everyone, so I'm Sara Khalil. I am studying health informatics at Northeastern University, and I am currently doing my co-op at Biogen. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited that I got the opportunity to take part in organizing an event like this with Kelly. So I'm going to be sharing a student's perspective and take on all of this. I'm going to be highlighting a lot of the resources that are offered by New England Himss and talking about how they can be of great value to a lot of you who are just now starting to think about career opportunities in health informatics. So hope you enjoy this and find it useful.
Hello everyone, myself Roshani Patel, and I'm an alumna of Sacred Heart University and currently working as an EMS specialist at LBU Community Clinic. I'm a member of New England Himss, and in May 2021, this year, I participated in the student poster presentation. And with the help and support of New England Himss team, I was fortunately able to get first prize. So thank you everyone for your support and specifically for the invitation to this webinar. And thank you guys, thank you everyone for joining this webinar as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Liddy, and I'm a student at the University of New England in their Master of Science in Health Informatics program. And I've been a volunteer at New England Himss since about January of this year. I serve on the Student Activities Committee and the Advocacy Committee. And I also participated in the mentorship program as a mentee, and you'll hear a little bit more about that in a bit. But about a year ago, right around this time, I was in the same place where many of you might already be right now, just here checking things out to see if it's worth your time and what all Himss has to offer. And I can tell you that not only have I made incredible professional connections, but I've made friends as well. So I'm glad that you're here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ralph Johnson. I'm currently the Vice President of Informatics and Technology at the Leapfrog Group in Washington, D.C. Sorry about that. I am a recovering CIO. I spent 35 years in that role at various hospitals in Maine, primarily, and New Hampshire. But my connection with New England Himss and the mentorship program is that I was president of the chapter about 6 years ago, maybe 7. And it was in that term that we initiated the mentorship program. So I'm really happy to be a part of this. I've been a part of the program ever since, and it's kept me connected with the chapter, and watching it grow and what it's become is not something we even envisioned all that time ago. So thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelly Gorham. I am a Willow analyst at Maine Health. I graduated with my MBA in healthcare management last year, and I have been on the board of Himss for 5 years now, first as the student representative and then 4 years as the mentorship co-chair. I'm really excited to share the program with everyone.
Hi everyone, I'm Maggie Shkina. I graduated with my Bachelor in Science in Biomedical Informatics from MCBHS University. I currently work at Maine Health as an Optime and Anesthesia Analyst, and I've been with Himss since 2018, working with Kelly and Wendy as well on the mentorship committee as a co-chair for the past 2 years.
Okay, great. So let's get started. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention this is going to be very informal. It's going to be discussion based. And we're really hoping that you learn something. We want you to learn more about the resources that are offered by New England Himss so you can start taking advantage of them. Feel free to share any questions and comments you have in the chat, and we'll try to get to them. But to get things started, we wanted to kick off our webinar by first focusing on the student poster contest. So this is going to be our first segment. This is a very exciting event, and it was a great addition. It was a new addition to the chapter's conference in May. The student poster contest was organized by the Students Activities Committee, and it was a great opportunity for students to showcase their skills and share their research projects. They presented topics that basically covered a wide range of fields and basically a wide range of topics in health informatics. And not only do they get to develop skills, whether it's in presenting or integrating a lot of their knowledge, but they also get to compete. And so this is a competition, and we do have prizes for winners. We're really happy and excited that we actually have Roshani joining us, and she's going to be sharing more about her experiences. So Roshani won first prize, and we really look forward to hearing more from her. But I just wanted to briefly just add one more thing, which is that besides just developing skills, this is a great opportunity for students to extend their professional network. So a lot of the students that participated in this event were judged by past presidents and professionals in the field. So not only do they get to interact with these professionals that have several years of experience, but then your work gets recognized. And so we do promote your achievements, whether it's through social media, different platforms, or through the website. So I'm gonna get the so with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Roshani so we can hear more about her experience as a participant.
Hello everyone. Actually, when I was doing my master at that time, like I was a member of New England Himss, and at the last semester, I got information that New England Himss is organizing the student poster competition, and at that time, I was doing my research. So I was writing my research paper. So I was thinking, let me make a poster and participate in that. But like because I had all the information about that because I was doing the research. So but I don't have experience with the poster presentation. So I started exploring like how to make professional posters, and that was my first experience to make professional posters. So I explored everything, and the New England teams and my professor guided me a lot. And specifically, I want to mention Monique and Shara, who helped me a lot to make my poster. And fortunately, I was able to prepare my poster and present in front of the many judges. And actually, at that time, I had a problem with the English because I was not a good presenter, and English was my third language. So like I was unable to present properly, which I had knowledge about, but in the end, they helped me and just they mainly focus on my knowledge and also they focus on my curiosity about that topic and based on that they judge me and here I want to say mainly like New England Himss is very supportive and best platform to develop yourself specifically for professional networking. It's the best place I want to say. And here I also want to say like whenever you want to be a perfect candidate or whenever you are attending any webinar or whenever you are presenting in front of team or whenever you are participating in the competition, I want to say try to be a best candidate, strong candidate, and whatever you have, just explain them properly. Be with your confidence. We present your thoughts, reasons, critics, and try to be a best and give at your best level. And I also want to say just because of New England Himss, I didn't get only the first prize. I got many opportunities. Right now, I'm working at LBCC, the community clinic, and my position is EHR specialist. So I want to say they saw this on LinkedIn, and just because of that, they got interested in me, and I got 3 rounds of interview, and fortunately I got that job. So it's the best platform, and I encourage each and every student to participate in this kind of competition.
Thank you, Roshni, for your input. We really appreciate it. And again, congratulations on winning our first ever poster contest.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were super excited. We got a lot of applications in through the door. Some then became finalists similar to Roshni. And so what we did, just to highlight the process a little bit, and Sarah will dive a little bit deeper, is just evaluating everybody's material and so forth. It was online virtually this year because of COVID. Our president, Amy Chaco, was able to maneuver a fantastic May Spring Conference all online with different subgroups where people can come in and out of chats and really explore and see all of the students' work up front online throughout the day. It was a 3-day conference. So just, yes, it was. And Roshni was able to participate in all of those days. So it's a great way to go ahead and advertise and promote yourself if you're an early careerist or if you're simply really trying to reach for specific expertise within HIT, and you're able to grow and actually show what you know to other professionals that attended the virtual conference in and of itself. So Roshni had the opportunity to engage with over 200 people in terms of, you know, them getting to see her actual work along with the other finalists. So also Roshni, so we can ask, outside of the promotion and the advancement that you've had with us, what else did it do for your resume? Just so folks know.
Basically for the resume, I just kept the first prize winner at New England Himss as a poster content. And whenever I'm getting the interview, the first question is we know about the New England Himss, but can you give me more detail and what you participated and what are the judges? And they want to know more about it, about my research as well as for the the New England Himss, and also it's like a first prize, so they want to know how big the competition was. And actually whenever actually I'm a healthcare informatics student, so EHR was my major, and just because of that, whenever I was doing the interview, whenever I had an interview, at that time they mainly asked me about that poster rather than about my MS or other experience, because to be frank, I don't have experience in US and I didn't get opportunity to do the internship. And I was an international student, so it's sometimes difficult just because of the visa sponsorship and everything. So just because of that, it impacts a lot on the resume. Also, it make our LinkedIn profile strong. So I was getting many messages from the LinkedIn as well.
Thank you for sharing all of that. It's very helpful for people to know. So with that in mind, we're going to hand it off to Sarah, and she's going to go a little bit more in depth about the actual process. So I'll let her take it away, but Sarah is a graduate teaching assistant over at Northeastern as well, with being a student, and she was able to proof a lot of these posters and the content along the way.
Awesome. So yeah, as Monique mentioned, this was the first time we actually try out this poster session, and there was an added complexity to it with the fact that this was completely virtual. But just to give you a bit more context in terms of what happens behind the scenes, it's a very involved process. So for me personally, I found this experience to be very rewarding because for those of you who don't know, I have a background in biology and research. And so I knew exactly what the students felt and how the process was from a student's point of view. I used to attend conferences, I used to present my research, but it was interesting to see, to switch roles and see how things were judged and be the judge, and to go over the proposals and go over the edits and meet with the students to discuss how they can improve their work before they finalized everything and they printed their posters or finalized everything so that we can then move on to seeing them present. And so yeah, like I said, this is a very involved process, and it includes first students submitting their proposal, and then we go through these proposals to pick, to make sure that the topics that we receive are very diverse and they cover a wide range of themes. So we were categorizing these projects into themes. And then after that, I met with some students just because I wanted to make sure that they had a fair chance to enter the contest. So in case they needed to make any minor edits, I discussed that with them. And then from there, they submitted, they worked on their poster, and then they submitted those and recordings to their poster that they also used to basically inform everyone who attended the conference about what their project entails. And those that were picked to be finalists in the competition were then invited to a judging session. So I also got to moderate, me in addition to other members of the Students Activities Committee, we got to also moderate the judging session. And like I mentioned before, these judging sessions were judged by past presidents. And so these were, this was an opportunity for finalists to not only showcase their skills, but also talk more about their work, answer any kinds of questions the judges had for them. And this was the last chance they had before we picked the winners of the contest. So I definitely found it rewarding. It was a great experience. And for everyone who's wondering, the poster session's happening again next year in May. Not sure if it's going to be virtual or not. But if you're interested, definitely be on the lookout for emails so you can learn more about deadlines and things of that sort.
Fantastic. So to switch gears a little bit, Sarah, can we maybe take a step back and talk about New England Himss in terms of student activities from a broad perspective? How can students become more involved outside of the poster contest, both professionally and academically?
Yes, so I'm gonna share my story, and hopefully you'll find that helpful because again, I'm gonna put myself in your shoes. So I first got involved with New England Himss a year ago, almost a year ago. But it all started with me hearing about New England Himss through my professors at Northeastern. I knew that my program was going to help me learn the skills that I needed to be a strong candidate in the field, but I knew that this was not going to be enough. So I wanted to take a stab at basically widening my network and meeting professionals in the field and learning more about the field. Like I said, I was coming with a pretty clinical background. I guess I would be considered an atypical applicant from that sense, or atypical student because I was coming with less technical skills. And I'm saying all of that because when I first heard about New England Himss, and I remember scanning the website and looking through the emails, I was a bit overwhelmed. I didn't know from where to start. So hopefully this is going to help you be better oriented and know from where to start. So when I first heard about New England Himss, the first thing I decided to do was attend webinars. So if you're here, that's a good start. Because, and I'm saying that because it's by attending these kinds of events that you start to meet professionals in the field. And for me personally, I found it useful to hear more about applications in the field. So learn more about what kinds of jobs can people, health informatics professionals have, or what kinds of topics do health informatics professionals talk about. And this is a great way for you to narrow your interests, learn more about what's going on, and stay up to date in the field. And if you're starting fresh and you don't know which direction to head, I think this is all going to be helpful for you to also network, develop relationships with potential mentors, so you can have conversations with them that you will find helpful, especially when it comes time to whether it's applying for an internship or thinking about your career more seriously. So definitely attend webinar events. This was where I started, and then I also participated as a volunteer, and that's how I joined the Students Activities Committee. So if anyone's interested, we're going to be providing you with the email address at the end of the webinar. So definitely reach out if you're interested in volunteering. And then I wanted to mention that I also joined the mentorship program. And I'm mentioning that because I wanted to segue into our second segment, which is going to be focusing more on that. And I also found that very rewarding because in addition to advancing your professional career, I guess, academically and learning the skills that you need in the field, I think it's important to also start thinking about what do you want to prioritize when it comes time to thinking about your career. And it's sometimes hard to think about it this way when you're worried about assignments and you're worried about attending classes and things of that sort. So it was helpful for me to have a mentor, and we'll learn we're going to be talking about the mentorship program in a lot more detail. So don't worry if I just skim through it, but the point is that it's very important to have a mentor where you can have these kinds of conversations with him or her. And you'll also notice that you're not alone. You have other people in a similar boat, going through similar experience, having similar questions. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Ralph and Liddy. We're going to go into our second segment of this webinar and dig a bit deeper and talk more about this mentorship program.
Liddy and Ralph, thank you for joining us and taking the time out of your evening to share more about the mentorship program and specifically your relationship. So Liddy, you're the mentee and Ralph, you're the mentor. We'll dive into some questions and just keeping the discussion lively. If either of you have feedback, just let us know. But we'll start off with Liddy. What are some of the benefits of having a mentor at the early stages of your career in health IT?
Yeah, very, very good question. And thank you. It's really a privilege to be here. What a difference a year can make. So like I mentioned in my intro, when about a year ago, I was sitting very much in the same situation that I'm guessing some of our viewers are. And just just got an email in my school email account telling me that, hey, you have a free Himss membership and check this out. And so I clicked on the web page, and my immediate thought was, this is a lot of really great information for my homework. There are webinars here, there are written resources, there are articles. This is going to save me a lot of time. But at the same time, I was also trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my health informatics degree, because let's face it, health informatics, health IT, health administration is just such a huge topic, right? And there's so many different directions to go. And I was really at a loss as to which direction to take career-wise, especially feeling pretty vulnerable because I did not have a clinical background. I'm not clinically trained in anything. I definitely do not have an IT background. I'm not professionally trained in IT. I just happened to wind up working as an administrative assistant in a college behavioral health center. And then a pandemic struck, and I was already trying to figure out what to do career-wise. I was feeling restless. And I thought about, well, what do I like to do in my current job? And it turns out I really like digging around in the EMR to fix things so it's easier for the counselors and the clinicians to be able to do their job and to design and run the reports and the statistics and all of that stuff. And then I found out there's actually a degree program for that. What do you know? Offered by the same university where I was working. So, hey, there's tuition reimbursement. How convenient. So anyway, I saw the opportunity to join the mentorship program and apply for the mentorship program. And I decided, I really need help here figuring out what my next steps will be. I saw that coming down the pike, I would need to line up a preceptor and some sort of practicum experience. And I knew I wanted to go beyond the walls of my own university, even though I could have found a project there. And I signed up, and it literally changed my life without trying. I'm not trying to sound dramatic, but a year later, I am employed at Maine Health, working as an associate systems analyst. Maggie and Kelly are my coworkers. We have yet to meet in person, but I see them online virtually, and Wendy as well. And I couldn't be happier. It's just been tremendous. So. Yeah, so I joined the mentorship program to get guidance on how to navigate job searches and career paths, and to get a better understanding of where I would be a good fit and where would be a great place to launch my health IT career.
Very nice. So if for folks that are curious that have never applied for the actual mentorship program, for you, what was the time commitment like? Was it something that you sought out yourself? How many hours does it typically involve when you do sign up to do this program?
That's a great question, and something that I've been thinking about a lot, because I would say, and Ralph will chime in because Ralph was my mentor. In terms of a time commitment, face-to-face virtually, we met once a month to 2 months for about an hour. And in between our meeting times, I would email him on occasion. It was usually me emailing him just with my spew of updates and questions and ponderings, like sending it out to the universe for us to discuss at the next meeting. So it wasn't a huge time commitment, but I would say it was a huge thought commitment. And I did spend a lot of time. What the mentorship program did for me was keep me accountable to really thinking about the big picture. So not getting so bogged down in my classwork and my regular work and everything happening in pandemic world, to really be thinking, okay, next steps, career steps, and to challenge my comfort zones in terms of navigating job searches and applications and professional networking and informational interviews and all of those things. And Ralph was great because he gave me the space to explore and to ask all the questions, and he was able to ask questions of me that helped me figure out, okay, what kind of environment do I want to work in? What kind of work do I want to do?
From the mentor side of this, I really think that more of the time obligation is on the mentee than on the mentor. Even though I enjoyed it. I mean, I would spend a little bit of time prepping. I'd spend a little bit of time reading some of Liddy's emails about catching up on her progress and thinking about what we would talk about at the next meeting. We did meet once a month, and we'd mutually agree when it was, except I think we took a little bit of a break near the holidays, just like everybody does. But it was good because it was there's stages to this process when you do it. And the first, it's like with any professional relationship, you got to learn who that other person is that you're working with, how they like to learn, how they like to work. And we were both doing that with each other, I think, through the first couple of meetings and getting to know each other, and then really came up with a game plan. But I'll tell you, Liddy's enthusiasm through this whole process is what carried it to its success.
Fantastic. So it sounds like what you put into it is what you get on out of it.
Really?
That is very much the case. And one of the benefits of this program too is that there are events, and I'm sure Maggie and Kelly will say more about that tonight, where all of the mentees and all of the mentors are in a social, somewhat programmed but casual, informal webinar like this, where we're getting to know other mentees and we're able to network with them and able to network with other mentors. So it's not even just the benefit of the relationship I formed with Ralph, which was amazing, and he continues to be a friend and mentor to this day, of course. But it was also having exposure and contact to other people who might be specializing in something that is of special interest to me, and so on and so forth. And I met Sada first through there, and Samir, and I later met Maha through there as well, I believe. So, and that just encouraged more involvement in Himss, because it was always a welcoming space to explore careers and to geek out a bit too.
It's great to meet people with like-minded ideas and backgrounds, and kind of where you're at personally and professionally with your growth in your career. So all of these students that you had mentioned, they don't necessarily go to your school. These are people that you've met outside of your academic network. That's what that sounds like.
That's right. I'm in it's an online graduate program, and so it's great for people who are, you know, working full time, and you take one class every 8 weeks year round for the course of 2 years. But particularly because it's asynchronous and it's during a pandemic, and we have people from all over the world, you're not having that classroom experience. You're not even having that same level of engagement with your instructor, who also might be halfway around the country or around the world. So yeah, it's especially, I think, in the days of, you know, the early days of the pandemic, we were all feeling pretty isolated, right? So so then to be in this program, and it was new to me, and I was really excited about all that I was learning, but not having that many outlets of ways to talk about it and explore further. Himss really was helpful in that. And really helped me too, because there wasn't going to be any sort of shadowing someone in person. So the virtual environment was it, and I'm grateful for that, because I think if the world were different, I'm not sure how involved I would have been. But I'm certainly not intending to let things slide now that we might possibly have the opportunity to do things together in person here as well. So
The more reason to meet up with people in person if you're able to.
Right, exactly.
Fantastic. Switching on over to Ralph. Ralph, what did you get out of it as a mentor?
Well, clearly you can see Liddy's enthusiasm, and to me that's quite a reward. It's the same reason I got into leadership many years ago. I mean, I started out as a computer programmer, and I learned early on that when I could see a person grow and I was part of that, it was more rewarding than seeing a piece of code work. So for me, I got a lot out of that, just watching her grow. We never would have, I'm sure we haven't talked about this, but Liddy and I, neither one of us would have predicted where she would be at the end of that program. And I don't take credit for that. I just take, if I get any credit, it's for encouraging her. I mean, she did a great job. I like being a part of that. I've been a mentor in other programs. I've been a mentor with other people in New England Himss. And when it works, it really works well. And that's a reward in itself. Plus you learn. I mean, I've learned not only what kind of a person and who Liddy is and made a new friend, I learned new aspects of different careers that I haven't been able to explore. So
it sounds like you two have built a long-term relationship. It's not just something where you're going ahead and you start the mentorship, you complete the mentorship, and you are no longer in touch. This is something that both of you have gotten out of and continue to speak to one another.
I would say so.
Absolutely. I still send him updates. I'm like, hey, I got in ClinDocs today.
Fantastic.
This is next, you know. So yeah. And it's good to hear from him too. And I value the work that he does, and learning more about the Leapfrog group and what they do, and even just that knowing that you can still, even late in your career, you can still take some turns in your career path and find it very rewarding. And that's something that I want to hold on to, that there's no such thing as being stagnant in health IT. You will always be learning, whether you stay in the same position or you move around. It's IT and it's health. Therefore, you'll always be having opportunities to learn new things. And that's really what's exciting.
And that was what was good from my point of view too. Liddy was taking her career in a path that I had never been on before, but I've seen and managed other people on that same path. So it was good to also have that perspective.
Very nice. Liddy, so given your situation, you're kind of coming out of the mentorship program. What advice do you have for our listeners in order to help maintain an academic and professional relationship? Because right now you're in school and you just took on a new role over at Maine Health. So it sounds like a bit of a juggling act. Do you have any sort of recommendations?
I think the biggest recommendation I would have is to stay curious. So curious about the ways you might grow as a person and as a professional, curious enough to ask questions and curious enough to listen. And that has really hit home for me since I started my new job at Maine Health. Coming in, not having any analyst experience before, not having any hospital experience. The very first thing as an analyst, as a systems analyst, that you have to do before you can even really work is get certified or accredited, or whatever word you want to use the electronic medical record system. And so it was very humbling to start a brand new job on June 21st and go in every day and meet people, see how busy they are. They're all great, wonderful people. Lurk in all of these virtual meetings where terms are flying by my head that I don't understand. Some jokes are flying by. I'm learning history, and to not be able to contribute anything because I'm still not certified in the electronic medical record, and to learn how much I do not yet know. And that's where I realized it's really about staying curious, staying positive, being willing to grow, being willing to learn. And it's also, I realized how much I was hired not based on any skill set I bring, other than interpersonal skills and networking skills and some of those soft skills, which leads to a nice plug. I'm just mentioning it now. I know we'll mention it again. Our next webinar in this Student Activities Committee sponsored series is going to be talking a lot about that, about those soft skills and interpersonal skills that leaders are looking for and managers are looking for when they're finding new candidates to fill job roles. So November 4th, mark your calendars.
So for folks that don't know how our actual programming works with student activities is that there's a webinar leader or leaders, plural, for each of the series that are coming out today. So we have Sarah and Kelly that did all of this programming and their ideas and thoughts about it on their own terms. It was an opportunity for them to have something that was tangible and to put down on the resume to say, I created this on my own, I moderated it, and I spoke to it on my own, and it gave you the leverage to say you had an experience and that you had grown and understood that process throughout that time from beginning until end. So the next webinar series that we have in November is going to be led by Liddy and Maha, both of our volunteers. So yes, you volunteer. Yes, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into it, but really an opportunity to have you guys come forward, present your own ideas as you wish, and hear your own voice out loud. So some of the benefits that we like to let other folks know if you're new to New England Himss. There's a lot of different committees that we represent. And so this is kind of how we've taken a stab at making sure that our volunteers get the experiences they need to grow. So with that in mind,
Monique, I'm sorry to
go ahead.
Interrupt. Yeah. So before we go ahead to our next topic, I will suggest viewers to post your questions in the Q&A section or on a chat so that we can answer them. And I have a question for both Lydia and Ralph. Okay. So Lydia, what are the challenges as a mentee that you might face in this kind of voluntary, because definitely when Himss is offering this program, it is more of a voluntary kind of program. And the same question goes for the Ralph also, that you are taking out from your busy schedule. And what are the challenges that you face from mentee side?
Okay,
So the question of challenges for both the side. Yeah, for both of you.
okay, Ralph, do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
So the challenges of doing this while working, and is that the gist of what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where I was really lucky, Liddy had a very flexible schedule when she was working at the school. And I have the luxury of not having a hospital CIO schedule any longer. So there were many times we were able to do this as part of our workday, which was very fortunate. Although we did do some evening sessions because, especially when we got into some crunch times, and that was fine. But it didn't detract from my job at all. And in fact, it was nice that, especially if I had big activities going, big projects, I could share that with Liddy. And it was part of more of the friendship that we had developed than it was part of me trying to teach her or her trying to learn from me. We got to share a lot about what was just going on with each other.
Yeah, I would say as a mentee, the challenges, clearly Ralph and I had a very good connection, and I don't think it was it wasn't just luck. I know that the mentorship committee chairs pour over the applications of both the mentors and the mentees, and they do their best to match people up who they think would benefit from that relationship. But also I will say it takes some effort. You have to be willing to get through the awkwardness, because the first couple meetings were awkward, and I know a lot of my questions were kind of around the etiquette of, okay, he's a vice president of Leapfrog Group. That sounds really important, and I've just read about it online. It is really important, and I don't want to be wasting his time. I don't want to be bothering him. So just figuring out what is the appropriate etiquette. So establishing how we would communicate with one another, and which email addresses to use, and so on and so forth. And I would, because my schedule is more flexible, I would just say, throw out some dates and times that work for you. Chances are they'll work for me, and we'll go from there. So I think it was just more the nuance of those early. It's kind of like dating, but not at all like dating. But do you know what I mean? It's just, and like job interviews, it's all just kind of like that awkward getting to know people sort of stuff, and you work through that.
Well, you made a really good point in the beginning too. Hats off to Kelly and Maggie and Wendy, because I think they did a really good job. And I know from having managed that program in the past, that's one of the hardest parts, is how do you align people's goals with the right mentor to take that on. So I would say that the majority of the relationships were successful from what I could see. And that's a credit to the mentorship committee for doing that.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that. I think Lydia and Ralph, you have set up the platform for our next session topic. Over to you, Monica. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions, Samir, or is that it from the chat? Okay.
Not as of now. Thank you.
Okay.
I was going to say, I think he's on mute.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Samir. So now we're going to go ahead and open it up to the mentorship program that everybody speaks so highly about. It's a huge success, and we're so happy to have them on. A lot of what student activity does and the benefits that we have overlap and cross-pollinate with the mentorship program. So we're thrilled to have them on board and speak to the slides that they have for the audience. We do have them here, so we'll hand them off to them.
Thanks, Monique. And thank you, Liddy and Ralph. That was awesome, you guys. So just going to give you guys some quick statistics of how our mentorship program went last year. So it was definitely one of the biggest pools of applicants that we had so far. So in total, we had 23 mentees and 15 mentors. So starting off, that was already quite a challenge to match everyone, and we had to figure out, we had a lot of students. Could we work with like a student group with a couple mentors, having them kind of take on those students and seeing how that works, if they would be great in a group. or if it would be better having them matched singularly. And then all of those mentees and mentors, we had them from 10 different states. And we even had someone who applied from Nepal, which was pretty cool actually to have him on board. So that was also a really interesting match. So we're very excited to see how many people we're going to get this year. We're hoping it's at the same, if not more. And we've already had a bunch of applications pouring in. So if this is something that you are all interested in, please send in your applications. We are accepting them until October 15th, I believe. So if anyone has any questions, we will probably touch on that in the last slide, but Kelly is going to talk about next how we match everyone.
Hi, everyone. So the way that our matching works is we like to have an initial meeting that happens late October, and we send out the matches early November. So we like everyone to introduce themselves and let us know a little bit about where they live, what their goals are, what they'd like their career path to be. And then Wendy, Maggie, and I kind of meet and we discuss and we take notes while we're talking. And then if someone really enjoys something that someone else says, then maybe they want to be paired with a one-on-one match. We tend to go with that and we match them, and we've been really successful with that. It was really successful last year. And we like it when people meet one-on-one, but for the time commitment, we kind of leave it up to each pair to determine how much time they want to put into their meetup and how often they want to meet. It's different for everyone. And yeah, and then we try to have meetings with the whole group, all of the mentors and mentees, because it's really easy to do in a virtual setting. And it gives people more of a pool to discuss and network with, which is really cool. And I think our next slide goes on to, yeah, so this is how you apply. So you could send an application to Maggie, Wendy, and myself. And we ask a lot of questions in those to help match people as well, just in case they can't meet that first week or that first meetup, and just that we have it in paper. Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
So Maggie and Kelly, just curious, how competitive is this process in terms of the application and who qualifies to apply?
Do you want to take that, Kelly, or do you want me to?
Again, so it's not very competitive. We actually try to accept everyone. It's sometimes challenging. Last year, we ended up doing a group of students with one mentor, which ended up being a little bit more challenging. So this year, I think we're going to try to do more of like a one mentor to mentee kind of situation if there's more mentees than mentor, but we do try to include everyone.
Okay. So it sounds like there's the opportunity to actually meet somebody else who's in the same boat as you with the same mentor. So kind of collaborate and see how you can kind of work together and exchange ideas and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. If we see, for example, that someone else has applied for another year, we'll try to match them with someone else just so they can get a different kind of experience, because, you know, not every mentor is going to give you the same advice or guidance. And same thing with like a mentee, they're not going to have the same problem or career path that they're trying to go for. So we try to match them up as differently and like as we can, just so they can get as much experience as they can.
And to add to that, we even had a group of students last year that were able to connect with each other.
Yeah.
Very nice. Really cool. So another question. So how do networking events factor into the mentorship experience? Do you offer opportunities that may connect people with other mentees as well?
Yep. So we regularly have social events that we call them. We just have everyone that's part of the mentorship program get online, and we just talk about, you know, what are the hot topics in IT, for example, or even just to socialize for a little bit and get to know everyone and see, you know, if, for example, if there's a mentor that you notice, you think, oh, you know, that person I think would be a great fit for me, even though I have this mentor already. Well, you can just reach out to us and we would match you as well.
Even not as like an official match, sometimes we just introduce them and
right,
facilitate their conversations.
That's good to know for folks that may be new or have different time commitments. I know that some people do work and go to school at the same time. Do you have mentees that apply that are professionally working as well?
Yeah,
I believe we do, yeah.
yeah, we definitely have a mix. Some people that just want to switch careers and they're in a different career path. Some people who want to move up in their current position and just want to talk to somebody in a more of a leadership position. Yeah, we have a little of everything.
We had someone actually in last year's program that they were physical therapists for like 25 years, and then they just wanted to switch into IT, so we matched them.
Something for the audience to keep in mind, it's not a cookie cutter sort of applicant that comes through our program. We're really open to all folks that have an interest in being paired with somebody that could help them out. And for both of you ladies, how did you get involved with the mentorship program?
My senior year of college, I heard about it from Ralph, who was running the program. And then once I started at Maine Health, Ralph asked me if I wanted to co-chair the program with him. So I co-chaired with Ralph, and he was a great mentor to me, kind of showed me the ways and what he did. And then after he left, I asked Wendy if she wanted to join, and then Maggie jumped on board too. And that kept working out really well.
It was a domino effect.
So it's really cool to see people that have come through the mentor program that actually participate in committees. So there are opportunities that way for folks that don't know to become a part of the chapter there on after the fact. Really cool. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie, so that in mind, we are going to let our audience know what opportunities we do have available from the Student Activities Committee. So based off the comment that I had just mentioned, we are all volunteers, everyone here, and right now we have been growing out our Student Activities Committee throughout the past year. So we are green, but we are growing. We have one volunteer opening for somebody that is interested. I will say we have a very collaborative group. The dynamic is upbeat and positive, and folks share their ideas from every different angle. That's a part of this committee for sure. We want to encourage people to bring their ideas forward and then present them to our audience however fits. So it's not just one person really driving the bus, it's everybody coming together in terms of our committee, which is super cool. So if folks are interested, our email is listed there on the slide, NEHIMSS@gmail.com. Even if you're just curious and the timing isn't necessarily right for you, we ask that you go ahead and just let us know that it's something of interest. We do keep a list of folks that are interested, and we'll circle back with people to say, is now a good time? If not, we have your name around and something to, take part in. It's a really good crowd, just so you know. And for this slide, I'm actually going to hand it on over to Liddy, also part of our mentorship program, but also participates in the advocacy committee as well.
Hello again. Yeah, I've been volunteering for the advocacy committee since January of this year as well. And I'll be honest, I know very little about legal policy surrounding healthcare other than what I've taken in classes. But through participation in this committee, I'm learning a lot about not only what the New England chapter is doing and what's happening in the New England states that our chapter represents in our individual state legislatures surrounding healthcare and health IT, but also what's happening at the national level. And so if you have any sort of passion or heart for healthcare reform, or you want to get a better handle on the politics of healthcare, of which there are many, this would be an excellent opportunity to learn and grow. And Mary, and I'm sorry I cannot pronounce her last name, the chair of the committee is just a powerhouse and so knowledgeable through her work in Cigna, but also just her involvement with National Himss, that you're bound to learn a lot just from sitting in on meetings. But also we are especially looking for people from, I want to say it's New Hampshire and Vermont, who are underrepresented on our committee. So if you are a student in New Hampshire or Vermont, or are from there studying elsewhere, please reach out to us, because we would love to have your representation on the committee. And if you're from another state and still interested, again, don't hesitate to contact either Mary or Matt on the emails advertised there to learn more. It's definitely well worth your time. So. And again, it's one meeting a month, and then there may be some just reading, and like I just keep track of the headlines and things for my state and what's happening in the state legislature in between meetings, so I can report.
Thanks, Liddy.
Great. So this slide is mainly just reminding you that we have 2 more upcoming events organized by the Students Activities Committee. Just wanted to mention that this year we're trying out something new. We're trying out a webinar series with one overarching theme, which is how we can get students more engaged with the chapter. And obviously, since it's a webinar series, we're hoping that you're not only going to attend, but you're going to benefit from us guiding you through the process. So the first one, which is this one, was supposed to first introduce you to ways in which you can get involved. The second one, which is coming up November 4th, is going to be led by Liddy and Maha. And this webinar is going to be focusing on soft skills, networking, and communication. And we'll conclude the webinar series with one focusing on the importance of resumes and how can students land a job. This is going to be led by Samir. Next slide, please.
So just so the audience does know, a lot of these resources that we've presented in the very beginning and the middle of our webinar are for the New England Himss chapter. These are resources to take advantage of through Himss National. So if you're part of an AOA, an academic affiliate organization, you're able to go on and sign on to the national webpage for free with a username and password. And there's other resources that are posted for early careerist folks like yourselves that want to become an impactful leader. And we just wanted to take the time to highlight those resources as well, because all of our schedules are busy. There's some things that you can't attend, that you can attend, that may be of interest to you, that you may be curious about. So we just want to make sure that you're informed of all that we have to offer. And Himss National is a different set of programming altogether, separate from, again, the New England chapter. So there you would be able to meet other individuals like yourselves that are members that you may want to connect with. So again, another branch, another social circle to really reach out to and meet other folks that may not necessarily be from New England. So that might be of interest to you. So becoming an impactful leader, again, September 28th through Himss National, 11 a.m. CT, about an hour long. So Himss National is putting on content about being an industry leader, where you can acquire skills, career strategies that may be applicable to you. And then also through Himss National is a call for proposals. And this is not limited to students, just folks that are interested. So if you have a really cool project similar to our poster contest, it might meet the criteria for this particular event, really. So if you think you're a subject matter expert or going down that path, take your research and your findings and present them at Orlando at the next conference. This is a very unique opportunity where you can present in front of a lot of people. It's a huge conference. So right now they are mentioning that the proposal opportunity in terms of openings is from August 23rd to September 20th. So it may have passed, but at this point in time, it's something to also note, right? So we're going through our school year at the moment, and you're going to have different assignments, different projects that you may may be working on individually or with groups. So if there's something that strikes your fancy throughout the academic year, this would be something to kind of keep in the back of your mind where, okay, I'm really good at this, or I find this to be interesting, or I'm connecting with a lot of professionals that do know about this. How can I collaborate with them? Put all of our ideas together to really benefit the patient and other areas of health IT. So something to keep in mind and jot down if you have time. Another cool event that Himss National is offering is a digital career fair. So this can be accessed at home at your convenience when you're available on November 3rd, 2021 from 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. ET. So to me, you can join at some point in time throughout that time frame. It doesn't, hard start at 12 and you can only get it at 12. It's pretty flexible in that sense. And there you're able to view open positions, even spruce up your resume beforehand and, post it so other folks can get to know your background, where you stand and where you have an interest in the industry. So if this is something that's, strikes your fancy again, or something that you're just curious about, what goes on in these career fairs, who's participating, what schools are involved, what professionals are involved. This is a way to learn about others and the needs from other employers as well, just to be on top of trends and be able to participate again from home, which is really nice.
Awesome. So with that, I wanted to conclude and thank you all for joining us. I really hope you found this helpful. I wanted to remind you that there's a survey that's going to be sent out after you exit this webinar. It's just 3 quick questions, 10 seconds of your time, but this is more for us to know if you found this helpful. And also please connect with us through LinkedIn or reach out by email if you have any questions, comments. We're always looking to incorporate a lot of your comments and feedback into our events. So again, thank you for coming and joining us. And if you have any last minute questions, feel free to share them in the chat. I think that's it. Monique, if you wanted to add anything.
We really want to take the time to thank everybody that's put in an effort to take on this event. It's a lot of work behind the scenes. Thank you to Mentorship. Thank you to Ralph, Programming, and Marcom. They do a fantastic job of getting it done. And there's a lot that goes on between work and home and just life in general. So we work together hand in hand. It's been a very big success. So thank you all for joining us as our audience. We appreciate you and your time. Thank you so much.